All right, so Scream 7. It's coming, and the hype is real, but it's hard to keep up with all the news and rumors flying around. There's just so much speculation about what's going to happen.
Yeah, it really is a lot to process. That's why you sent me this CBR article, right?
Exactly. This article is a goldmine. They've compiled all the confirmations and rumors about the returning characters for Scream 7. So we're taking a deep dive into it today.
Awesome.
For you listening, we're going to break down everything nice and easy, who's coming back, where we last saw them, and what it all means for the next chapter of Scream. So buckle up. Let's get started.
Sounds good. I think the best place to start is with the one element that's remained constant across every single Scream movie.
You mean the one thing that instantly sends chills down your spine? That iconic voice.
Precisely.
Roger L. Jackson, the voice of Ghostface. He's been making those terrifying phone calls since the original, back in 1996.
And that's amazing when you think about it, right? We've had so many different actors play Ghostface over the years, but Jackson's voice has been there through it all.
It's like a sonic signature. It doesn't matter who's behind the mask. That voice is pure Ghostface. And yes, thankfully, he's confirmed to be back for Scream 7.
Oh, absolutely. Can't have Scream without him.
Now, we have to talk about another Scream legend. Someone who's cheated death more times than we can count. Gale Weathers.
Played by Courtney Cox, of course. Her survival rate in these movies is unbelievable. 6 films, and she's still kicking.
That's saying something when you're dealing with Ghostface. I mean, think back to Scream 6. She was attacked in her apartment. Her boyfriend was killed.
Right. That was brutal. It felt like that was it for her, like they were writing her out.
Seriously.
Yeah.
But nope, she survived, and it's been confirmed that Gale Weathers is back for Scream 7.
She just can't stay away, can she?
Well, she is Gale Weathers. She's got to be where the story is.
Always chasing the headline. Speaking of survivors, we got to talk about the new generation.
You mean Mindy and Chad Meeks-Martin, the niece and nephew of the horror guru himself, Randy Meeks.
Exactly. They've taken on that horror expert mantle in the new movies. Like, remember in the 2022 Scream, Mindy breaks down the whole requel concept, like how it's both a reboot and a sequel. It's so meta.
Yeah, she's the one explaining the rules of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And she's had some close calls herself. Remember that scene in the 2022 Scream where she's watching Stab and Ghostface pops up behind her? A direct parallel to Randy's death in the original.
It was like history repeating itself.
And even in Scream 6, she gets stabbed on the subway.
But she pulls through.
Always does. So Mindy's definitely confirmed for Scream 7. One of only 2 new characters from the 2022 film making a comeback.
Which brings us to the other half of that equation.
Yeah.
Her twin brother, Chad, played by Mason Gooding.
He's a bit less vocal about the whole horror movie rule thing than Mindy, but he's been through the ringer too.
The CBR article actually points out that he was basically called an alpha male in Scream 6, but like in a charming way, not in a toxic way.
Right. He's definitely the more physical one of the twins. Remember in the 2022 Scream when he blindly followed his GPS and walked right into a trap?
Not the smartest move.
Then, in Scream 6, he gets stabbed multiple times in the final act. Like, in a way he probably shouldn't survive.
Yeah, that one was pretty wild.
But Chad just keeps on ticking, and the expectation is that he'll be back for Scream 7, ready for more punishment.
I mean, someone's got to protect Mindy, right?
Exactly. Now, we have to address the elephant in the room, or rather, the final girl who wasn't in the room for Scream 6.
You're talking about Sidney Prescott, of course.
The one and only, played by Neve Campbell. The heart and soul of this franchise. She's faced so much trauma over the years, it's hard to even fathom.
Seriously, her boyfriend turned out to be Ghostface, then his mom, then her half-brother, then her cousin. It's like a never-ending cycle of betrayal and terror.
It was a huge deal when she wasn't in Scream 6 because of that whole pay dispute with the studio.
Yeah, I remember that.
In the film, they explained it away by saying she was in hiding with her husband and kids. But she did come back for the 2022 Scream, and it felt like she was passing the torch to the new generation.
It did, didn't it? Like her watch was finally over.
But here's the thing. She's back for Scream 7 in a starring role. And there are even reports that her family will be part of the story. So her return is a major development. It changes everything.
Absolutely. It's going to be interesting to see how they handle that.
Now, here's where things get really wild. Because we're not just talking about the return of Sidney Prescott. We're talking about the potential return of characters who, well, we thought were dead.
Let's start with the original Ghostface himself, Billy Loomis.
Sidney's boyfriend from the first film, played by Skeet Ulrich. He wanted revenge because his dad had an affair with Sidney's mom.
And as we learned in the 2022 Scream, He was no saint herself. He had an affair too, which resulted in Sam Carpenter's birth.
Right, a whole lot of messy history there. And we saw Billy return in the last 2 films, but not in a physical way.
More like a ghost. A hallucination haunting Sam.
Exactly. It was this creepy psychological element. And Skeet Ulrich is confirmed to be back for Scream 7, but Melissa Barrera, who played Sam, isn't.
So it's highly likely we'll see Billy again, but in that same spectral form.
Maybe haunting someone else. Now, are you ready for this?
Hit me.
Dewey Riley.
Wait, what?
David Arquette is confirmed to be back for Scream 7.
But he died.
I know. He died saving Sam and Tara in the 2022 Scream. It was a huge moment. Heartbreaking, but also kind of heroic.
Totally.
But here's the thing the CBR article pointed out. We never actually saw a close-up of his body after he died.
You're right. It was off screen, so maybe.
Maybe there's a chance he's alive.
Yeah.
Or maybe he'll appear in flashbacks or as a vision like Billy. Either way, his return is a huge surprise.
Totally unexpected. And we're not done with the surprises yet. Roman Bridger, the director of Stab 3 from Scream 3.
Yeah, he was the Ghostface in that one.
He was also Sidney's secret half-brother, remember? And his whole motive was that he felt rejected by their mother. So he decided to manipulate Billy into starting the whole killing spree.
Right. A lot of twisted family drama.
Roman is often considered one of the less popular Ghostfaces, and Scream 3 is often ranked lower than the others.
Yeah, it wasn't the best. But Roman was unique. He worked alone, he used voice mimicry technology, and a bulletproof vest. Pretty advanced for the time.
Definitely. But his death was pretty definitive. Sidney stabbed him multiple times, and then Dewey shot him, including a headshot.
There's no coming back from that. Or so we thought.
So what are you saying?
Scott Foley, who played Roman, is confirmed for Scream 7.
No way. How is that even possible?
We don't know yet. But it's a huge twist. Like, how do you explain a character coming back after being shot in the head?
Yeah, that's going to be tough to explain.
But wait, there's one more. The return that everyone's talking about.
You mean Stu Macher?
Stu Macher is back, baby!
The original Ghostface. The one who threw that legendary party in the first film.
Played by Matthew Lillard. And his performance was iconic.
He was so funny, but also terrifying.
His motive was a bit unclear, though. Like, was he just crazy? Or was he manipulated by Billy? We never really knew for sure.
His death scene was legendary.
A TV to the head, sparks flying everywhere. But some fans have always believed that he survived.
Right, and Matthew Lillard himself has said that he thinks Stu is still alive.
Well, guess what? The rumors are true. Matthew Lillard is confirmed for Scream 7. It's happening.
This is huge.
I know. So to recap, we have Roger L. Jackson back as the voice of Ghostface, the unstoppable Gale Weathers, and the new generation survivors, Mindy and Chad.
And then, of course, the big one, Sidney Prescott's return.
But then it gets really crazy with the return of seemingly dead characters. Billy Loomis as some sort of ghost, the mysterious return of Dewey Riley, the impossible return of Roman Bridger, and the long-awaited comeback of Stu Macher.
It's mind-boggling, really. Like, how are they going to explain all of this? Especially with the Carpenter sisters out of the picture. What does it mean for the new characters they'll probably introduce?
Right. Will they retcon some of these deaths? Is there some supernatural element at play? And how will Billy's ghost thing work without Sam?
This whole situation really shows the challenge the filmmakers are facing. They want to give the fans what they want, which is a return of these iconic characters, but they also need to move the story forward.
So, for you listening, this gives you a good idea of what to expect from Scream 7. We know who's probably going to be running from Ghostface, and we know there are some huge questions surrounding their returns.
And here's the big question for you to think about. With so many familiar faces coming back, especially those we thought were gone for good, what does this mean for the future of the Scream franchise?
Is this just a nostalgia trip? Or is it something bigger? Are they trying to bridge the past and the future in a way that's going to blow our minds?
Only time will tell.
Well, until then, we can only speculate and enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
Exactly. This is going to be fun.